All right, so get this. We're diving into an AI today called Ola that can like actually see and hear.
Yeah,
It's wild, right?
it is. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it can see, hear, even talk back to us.
And it's not just some gimmick. It's scoring crazy high on these like AI tests for transcribing audio and
Oh,
just
yes.
describing
It's
pitches.
crushing it on all those benchmarks.
I even read it can pick up on how someone's feeling just from their voice.
Yeah, that's right. That's one of the big things with Ola. It's not just processing data, it's understanding the meaning behind it, kind of like how we do.
And to top it all off, it's open source.
Oh, that's huge.
I mean, anyone can use it.
Yeah, think about it. This tech, instead of it being locked away in some lab, it's out there for anyone with a good idea to, like, build something with it.
Okay, so what's the secret sauce? What makes Ola so different?
Well, a lot of it comes down to how it's trained. It's this process called progressive modality alignment. Imagine, like, teaching a kid. You wouldn't just throw every subject at them at once. You'd start with the basics, right?
Yeah, of
Build up
course.
from there.
So it's like Ola's learning its ABCs first.
Exactly. Text and images first, then video, and finally, the toughest stuff, audio and speech.
Why train it that way, though? Isn't it faster to, like, just teach it everything at once?
That's actually what makes Ola so good. It's this gradual process. Instead of being spread thin trying to learn everything at once, it gets a really deep understanding of each type of input.
So instead of being a jack of all trades, it's more like a master of, well, everything.
Yeah, exactly. And that mastery really shows when you look at how Ola's built.
How so?
Well, for visuals, it's got this dedicated encoder, right? Which basically translates images and videos into a language the AI core can understand.
Oh, so like a visual dictionary for Ola.
Exactly.
But wouldn't processing all those images and video create a ton of data?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a lot for it to handle.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why Ola also uses this thing called downsampling. It's kind of like compressing a file. You still get the important stuff, but it's way more manageable.
Okay, so it's all about efficiency. That makes sense.
Yep.
But what about the talking part? How does Ola actually speak back to us?
That's where the speech decoder comes in. It's this separate component that takes the AI's thoughts, which are basically in text form at that point, and turns them into spoken words.
Ah,
Turns out that's a lot more efficient than trying to teach the AI to speak from scratch.
so it's like giving Ola a translator who's fluent in AI, I guess.
You got it. And that translator takes all that complex stuff the AI has figured out and puts it in a way we can all understand.
I can already see how powerful this could be,
Oh, yeah.
but give me an example. How would this actually work in the real world?
Okay, imagine you're watching a cooking video and you want to know more about some technique the chef's using. You could just ask Ola.
And since it can see and hear, it analyzes everything, right? The video, the chef's movements, what they're saying.
Exactly. And then, bam, Ola responds in spoken words, giving you a full answer based on everything it's understood from the video.
It's like having an expert chef right there with you.
Right there in your kitchen.
That's amazing.
And that's just scratching the surface.
Oh, I bet.
To really understand why Ola's such a big deal, we need to talk about video and how crucial it is to the whole thing.
Okay, so video. Video is the key here. What's so special about video for Ola?
Well, think about it. How do we learn, right? Like, we don't just see a ball bouncing. We hear that, like, thump-thump sound of it.
Right, right.
They happen together, those two things. And our brains, they, like, connect them.
So video is kind of like that for Ola.
Yeah, exactly. Video bundles sights and sounds together. It's, like, super helpful for training AI.
So it's not stuck in some lab. It's like out in the world, seeing how everything works together.
Yeah, and the researchers behind Ola, they took this even further, right? They trained Ola on this data set full of videos and the audio that goes with them.
Like what?
Stuff like YouTube videos. You got all the action happening on screen, plus people talking, music, real world sounds.
Ah, so Ola is learning from, like, the real deal.
Yeah, and it gets some pretty awesome results, like Ola's ability to understand what it's hearing, especially with what it's seeing at the same time. It just, like, skyrocketed.
Really?
It was even better than using, like, subtitles from the videos.
Wait, hold on. Even better than subtitles? So there's stuff hidden in the audio that's, like, beyond the words themselves.
It's like Ola's picking up on the tone of voice, background noises, all those little cues that, we might not even realize we're processing.
Wow.
It's getting the whole picture, not just the words.
Okay, I am getting pumped about this. I gotta say, we've talked about those benchmarks and everything, but how about real-world stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Like, how could this actually change things?
Okay, picture this. A student trying to learn a new language, right? Instead of just recording their voice, Ola could watch them, see their facial expressions, and give feedback on not just how they're saying the words, but if they're, like, actually getting it.
It's like a language tutor who can read your mind.
Right, or those customer service hotlines.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Instead of talking to a robot voice, you'd have an actual conversation. And Ola could, like, analyze your tone and tell if you're getting frustrated.
No more yelling representative into the void.
Exactly. But what about the fun stuff, like entertainment?
Oh, yeah, this feels like it could be huge for games and movies.
Imagine video games that react to how you're feeling. The story could change based on, like, your reactions, making the whole thing totally immersive.
That would be wild. Or, I don't know, a movie where Ola adjusts the music or even how fast the scenes go, depending on if you're like really into it.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it, right? With Ola being open source, all this stuff could be happening way sooner than we think.
It's kind of scary too, though. AI that can understand that well.
It's a powerful technology. It could be dangerous in the wrong hands.
So how do we stop that? How do we make sure it's used for good?
That's where open source is actually like a good thing. It means more people are keeping an eye on things. More
Oh,
people thinking about how it could be used, and making sure it's used responsibly.
like a global safety net, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just about stopping bad stuff. It's also about making sure Ola benefits everyone.
Right.
Like, remember, it's designed to understand how we communicate.
So in the right hands, it could be amazing for like accessibility or helping people who speak different languages.
Exactly. But we got to think about jobs too, right?
Oh, yeah.
If AI can do stuff that humans used to, what happens to those jobs?
It's like every time technology takes a leaps
It's
forward.
disruptive.
Yeah.
But history shows us that new jobs pop up too, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
The key is to adapt. Learn skills that work with AI, not compete with it.
So it's not us versus them.
Exactly. And Ola, the way it learns and adapts, could be a huge help in all of this. It's like, I don't know, like a super smart assistant, helping us solve tough problems and make things we never thought possible.
Okay, I'm back on board, but let's get back to Ola's skills for a sec.
Okay.
We know it's killing it on those benchmark tests, but what about the research? Are there any real-world examples of what Ola can do?
One thing that really blew me away was how Ola could understand the emotions in a video. Like, imagine watching a movie with Ola.
Okay.
It wouldn't just see the actors and where they are. It could analyze their faces, how they're moving, their tone of voice, and like get the emotions they're showing.
So Ola's like watching the movie and feeling it too.
Yeah. Think about the possibilities, right? Like personalized movie recommendations or even content that changes based on how you're feeling.
Talk about interactive entertainment.
Right.
Okay, I'm sold. But how does Ola stack up against those other AI models out
Oh,
there?
yeah.
The ones that just focus on one thing, like image recognition or audio processing. Can Ola really compete with those specialists? Yeah, it's like Ola versus the all-star team.
It really is. It's like a decathlon, where those athletes who are amazing at one thing
Yeah.
go up against someone who's good at everything.
All right, so first event, image recognition. Ola's got to face some serious competition here.
Oh, yeah, these are AI models that are specifically built for this, right? Identifying objects, analyzing scenes, all that.
Okay, so how does Ola do?
Well, the results are pretty impressive. It's holding its own, getting great scores on all sorts of image recognition tests.
So it's not just good at one specific thing.
Nope, it's proving it can handle a whole bunch of visual challenges.
Okay, but what about video? That feels like a whole other level.
Oh, for sure. Video's way more complex.
Yeah, you got to understand movement, time, all that stuff.
And the competition here, it's intense. These AI models, they're trained on massive amounts of video data.
Wow, so Ola's really going up against the best of the best.
Yeah, but get this. Ola's actually surpassing expectations. Remember that Video Emmy benchmark we talked about?
Mm-hmm.
Ola actually beat out models that were like specifically made for video understanding.
No way. So it's like training for a marathon and then winning a sprint on the side.
Exactly. And it just goes to show how powerful this progressive training approach is. By building that solid foundation, Ola can take on these super complex tasks.
It's like having like a strong core, right? Gives you the stability to do all sorts of things.
Totally. All right, let's move on to audio. This is where things get really interesting.
Okay, let's see what Ola's got.
So we know we can transcribe speech like a champ,
Yeah.
but what about music, sound effects, all those other like nuances of audio?
Can it handle all that?
This is where Ola really shines. Remember that near human accuracy on the LibreSpeech test?
Yeah.
That's practically unheard of for an AI that isn't like specifically designed for transcription.
Wow, so it's like Ola's got the ears of a musician and a court reporter all rolled into one.
Yeah, and it goes beyond just, transcribing words. Ola can analyze music, pick out the instruments, even figure out the mood of a piece.
So like a virtual music expert.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm convinced Ola's not just competing, it's blowing everyone out of the water. This whole Omni Modal approach, it's not just some fad, it's like the future of AI.
It's a total game changer, right? We're moving away from AI that can only do one thing and towards AI that can, like, understand and interact with the world in a much richer, more human way.
It's exciting, but also a little, I don't know, intimidating, right? We're talking about AI that's getting closer and closer to how we think and experience the world.
Yeah, and that's why these conversations are so important. We got to explore the good and the bad. The future of AI, it's being shaped right now. It's up to all of us to make sure it's a future we want.
This has been an awesome deep dive into Ola. We've gone from the basics of omni-modal AI to imagining a future where AI is just like a natural part of our lives.
We've seen how Ola, with its, unique training and its ability to see, hear, and understand the world like we do, is really pushing the limits of what's possible.
And we've talked about what this technology could mean for us, the good, the bad, the whole deal.
So as we wrap up, here's a question for you all. What role do you see AI playing in your life, in the future of, humanity?
It's a big question, and the answers are going to keep changing, right? But one thing's for sure, the journey into AI is just getting started, and Ola is leading the way. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.